Welcome to an example on function notation. Before looking at the actual problem though, I thought I'd share an interesting statistic. In 2008, the average amount of waste generated by each person in the United States per day was 4.5 pounds. Of this 4.5 pounds, 24.3% of the waste was recycled, 8.9% was composted, and 66.8% was sent to landfill or incinerated. Now for our example, the amount of waste W produced by a city with population P is given by W equals F of P. So we can say the amount of waste W is a function of the population P, where W is measured in thousands of pounds per day and P is measured in thousands of people. So if the city of Flagstaff, Arizona has a population of 65,000 and produces 273,000 pounds of waste in one day, we want to write this information in terms of the function f. So we know that W equals f of p, or W is a function of p, and therefore the population P is the input. Notice in this case the population is 65,000, and the amount of waste W is the output, which in this case is 73,000 pounds. But we do need to be careful because notice how W is measured in thousands of pounds and P is measured in thousands of people. So it's not going to be F of 65,000, it's going to be F of 65, where when P equals 65, this corresponds to 65,000 people, and this function value is not going to be equal to, and this function value will not be equal to 273,000, it'll be equal to 273, since W is measured in thousands of pounds per day. We can also say that P is the independent or control variable and W is the dependent variable. So we could say that the population controls the amount of waste, or we can say that the amount of waste depends on the population. Just in case you need the extra review, let's review the definition of a function. A function is a rule for a relationship between an input or independent quantity and an output or a dependent quantity in which each input value uniquely determines exactly one output value. So it's important to remember when we have a function, each input determines exactly one output. We can also say the output is equal to a function of the input, or if we have y equals f of x, we would say y is a function of x. I hope you found this explanation helpful.